Hey everyone, it's your buddy back again with another exciting fanfic, which is what if Kushina escaped Konoha with Naruto and his future harem shifted. Part 2. If you enjoy this story, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more fanfics like this. Now, let's dive right into the fanfic. Mission to Wave. It's a beautiful morning in Konoha, and a small animal figure is walking in the forest. However, luck was not on its side, as 4 more figures are waiting for the perfect time for the catch. This is Greyhound and Red Devil. Do you have the target in sight? Asked Kakashi with Kushina next to him. Red Sword Mistress in position. We have eyes on the target, said Nitsuki. Black Shadow in position. Target just 5 meters from us, said Satsuki. Lady Genjutsu in position. Yes, the target is in sight, said Yakumo. Mastermind in position. Target has been spotted, said Naruto. Right, the target is beginning to go on the run, go, commanded Kushina. The genins jump for the animal figure, and the animal begins to run away, but Naruto with a bamf teleports in front of the animal. He looks it in the eyes and hypnotizes it. Sleep, commanded Naruto, and the animal went to sleep. The animal is now sleeping in his arms, and Naruto walks over to his teammates and senseis. Got the target, Tora. The missing cat has been caught, said Kakashi. Back at Hokage Tower. Oh Tora, thank you so much for finding my cat. The woman cried in happiness as she began to show a little too much affection to the poor cat. Excuse me, I apologize for interrupting your happy reunion, but it seems that Tora thinks that you're showing a little too much affection, so if possible that can you take it easy and pet Tora lightly, for the cat's sake, please, said Naruto. Oh Tora, is that why you're always running off away from me? Mommy will be gentle to you from now on, the lady said, and the cat is now happy. The lady walks home, and the Hokage says, thanks to you Naruto, the shinobi don't have to worry about catching Tora again, at least now they'll be able to relax for once. I hope so, said Naruto. Aw man, that was the 3rd time we had to catch that damn cat, at least that we don't have to catch that cat again, said Nitsuki in annoyance. I know, I don't think I can handle another D-rank mission, because that is just what civilians need to do, but they're just too damn lazy, agreed Satsuki. I'm sorry you too, but newly made genins need to start off with D ranks until they are considered to be able to handle C rank to higher rank missions, said Iruka. Suddenly, Team 7 come in after they finished another D rank mission, Sasuke being the snobby and arrogant spoiled brat that he has had the balls to say, I'm sick of the D ranks old man, and Uchiha elite like me needs a higher rank mission so the Uchiha isn't considered weak. And Kiba says, for once I agree with the Uchiha, an alpha like me needs a high-ranked mission to show others who the dominant one is, with Sakura agreeing to their bullshit. Come on Sasuke, they just don't think that you're ready for a mission like that yet, said Satsuki trying to calm her brother down. Screw you Uchiha disgrace, snarled Sasuke. Satsuki looks like she is ready to cry, her teammates are glaring at him for that insult. Hey, that was so uncalled for, snapped Naruto. Piss off dope, you're not part of a clan so you're a clanless nobody. Sasuke snapped back at Naruto as Nitsuki and Kushina are comforting Satsuki. Naruto then releases a lot of killing intent that causes nearly everyone to fall to their knees except the Hokage and his teammates. You just dug your own grave, and by the way, that arrogant mouth of yours will get you and your teammates killed, along with Dogboy's lust, growled Naruto. That's enough you two. I will not stand it if 2 of Konoha's shinobis are fighting in my office. Now stop fighting and don't look at each other, roared Hiruzen as he slammed his fist onto his desk. Sasuke and Naruto glare at each other and face the Hokage. If you want a C-rank mission so bad Sasuke, then you and your team will get one, Hiruzen said in an annoyed voice. Sasuke and Kiba smirk. About time old man, said Kiba, and that got him a smack on the back of the head by Anko. Kiba be nice, she scolded. Bring in Tazuna, ordered Hiruzen, and an old drunk walks in and looks at them. What is this? You expect these kids to defend me? The pink-haired one looks like she can't even fight properly. The dog boy looks like someone who would kill first ask questions later. The duck butt looks like he'll just shit himself. The lady with the leather coat is the one who I believe will do a better job, said Tazuna. Naruto, Nitsuki, Satsuki, Yakumo and Kushina snicker at the nicknames for Sasuke. Sakura and Kiba as the said genin get pissed. Hey, don't insult the might of the Uchiha clan. Barked Sasuke with Sakura adding her bullshit, or I mean saying, yeah, don't insult Sasuke-kun or his clan. It's not only them Tazuna. Team 11 here will help defend you as well. Said Hiruzen, and Tazuna looks at Team 11, they look like they can handle themselves, especially the red-haired boy. Said Tazuna giving Team 11 a thumbs up, making them chuckle, while Team 7 minus Anko was fuming at the fact that the old fart gave them a better reputation. Meet me at the gates tomorrow at 9 a.m., said Tazuna, and he leaves. Team 7 leaves as well except Anko telling them that she needed to speak with the Hokage for the moment and they left. Naruto however had his eyes closed the entire time, and he says, it's not a simple C-rank mission, it's gonna be risen to an A- rank mission. Everyone looks at Naruto, you read his mind, didn't you? Asked Hiruzen. Sure did, answered Naruto with a smirk, what did you learn from his mind? Asked Kushina. He is Tazuna, master bridge builder of the Wave Village, has a daughter named Tsunami and a granddaughter named In. Their village is under the tyranny of Gado Corp and the bridge is the only way to make Gado's company come crashing to a halt, explained Naruto. That surprised everyone in the room. Thank God that you have telepathy, Naruto, what would we do without it? Said Iruka with happiness. What are you gonna do, Sarutobi-sensei? Asked Naruto, surprising Kushina at that. Hiruzen trained you himself. She thought, yes mom, but it wasn't only him, but also Inoichi Yamanaka. Sarutobi-sensei trained me in magnetism manipulation and teleportation as well as the way of the shinobi. Inoichi-sama trained me in telepathy. Hell, even Kyuubi decided to train me, but it was in chakra control. Naruto spoke to her telepathically, getting an even more shocked look from her. I'll send Team 8 with you as extra protection, they can help with protecting Tazuna, said Hiruzen. Very clever move, Sarutobi-sensei. It seems getting your backbone back has also given you your smarts back, said Naruto in humor. Haha, very funny, Naruto, said Hiruzen being sarcastic. Oh, you know that it's funny, said Naruto waving his hand, getting giggles from the girls including Kushina and Anko. Kakashi is snickering and so is Iruka, while Hiruzen starts to chuckle. Alright, be at the gates tomorrow so the mission will begin. Dismissed, said Hiruzen. They leave and Naruto decides to head to a weapons shop for shinobi and kunoichi called Higurashi Weapons. He sees Isao at the counter. Hello Naruto, what will it be? Asked Isao. Oh, you know, I'm gonna stock on supplies for a mission which would be C rank, but I have a feeling that it will be more of an A- rank, said Naruto. Oh, take a look around the store and pick out anything that you need, said Isao. Thanks, said Naruto, and he looks around the store for supplies and gets some 40 kunais, 40 shurikens, 40 senbons, 40 smoke bombs, 2 katanas and 10 storage scrolls. Isao says the price. I'm not good at telling the difference in money from other places. Thanks to Naruto getting some of his clan money was able to pay for them. Pleasure doing business with you, said Isao, and then something catches Naruto's eye, a display case with a rusty-looking pitchfork. It's the Nejibana. What's that? Asked Naruto as he pointed at the display case. Oh, that's an old rusted pitchfork. I'll take it down so you can hold it if you want, answered Isao. Sure, said Naruto. Isao walks over to the display case and takes the pitchfork out and hands it to Naruto. Upon touching Naruto's hands, the pitchfork then started to glow ocean blue, and then it started to change. Could this pitchfork be? Thought Isao in surprise. The pitchfork stops glowing and it has a new look to it. It now looks brand new. Naruto could feel power radiating from it. It had a silver 3-tipped spearhead, a ocean blue handle, a green tuff at the bottom of the spearhead and a metal bottom end that looked like a kid's top. In all my years, I've never seen this weapon with my own eyes, said Isao with stars in his eyes in awe. Is there a problem? Asked Naruto. Everything is perfectly fine, Naruto, for the weapon in your hands is the legendary weapon called the Nejibana, said Isao. The Nejibana? Asked Naruto. Legend has it that only an Uzumaki pure of heart can use this weapon to its full potential. To an Uchiha, however, it's useless. The powers it grants is the power of the seas. It can cause earthquakes and lets you breathe underwater. Legend also says that the Nejibana is a weapon blessed by the sea god Poseidon himself, and it's said to be indestructible, explained Isao. Naruto is in awe at this intel. He has a legendary weapon that only pure-hearted Uzumakis can wield. How much for the Nejibana? Asked Naruto. Since you reawakened its power, it's yours to keep free as charged. Said Isao. Wow, thank you so much. Said Naruto. Anytime Naruto. Isao said, and Naruto bids him farewell and runs into a girl about a year older than him and sees her on the ground. I'm so sorry, I should have looked where I was going. Said a guilty Naruto as he helped her up. Thank you, said the girl. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Said Naruto. That shocked the girl, he related to the Yondaime. She thought, I'm Tenten Higurashi, my uncle owns the store here. Said the now named Tenten. Nice to meet you, said Naruto in a friendly tone with a smile making her blush at it. She then sees the Nejibana and gets stars in her eyes. Is that the Nejibana, the legendary weapon of the Uzumaki clan? She asked excitedly. Yes, yes it is. Said Naruto. Can I hold it? She asked adding the puppy dog eyes. Sure Tenten-chan. Said Naruto making Tenten blush madly at the chan part added to her name. He gives her the Nejibana and she is squealing like a fangirl who just got kissed by their crush. It's so beautiful, is it yours? Asked Tenten. Yes, I just got it here. Said Naruto. Here, but how? She asked again. Remember the rusty pitchfork? Said Naruto, and Tenten nods. Well, when I touched it, it transformed into this, explained Naruto. Tenten is in awe at this. Wow, I really wish that I could see it transform. She said in sadness. Seeing this, Naruto then gives her a hug which makes her blush once again. He then whispers into her ear, don't worry Tenten-chan, you'll be able to see the Nejibana in action in the Chunin exams in a couple months. And she widens her eyes. How did he know when the Chunin exams were coming up? And I'm open for some weapon training after my mission. I'll be happy to accept your help in that kind of training Tenten-chan. Naruto added whispering into her ear, but this time it was a flirty voice which makes Tenten a little wet. She was starting to fall in love with this young shinobi. See you later Tentenheim. He finished whispering in her ear, which makes her blush heavily at the Heim part added to her name this time. He then surprises her with a light and soft kiss on the cheek. Tenten is now in a full-body blush, and she is watching Naruto leave for his home. Her uncle was watching everything from the store with a grin. It now seems that his niece has a crush on the young telepath. Tenten walks into the store and sees her uncle grinning at her. Looks like somebody's in love, he said teasingly. Tenten blushes angrily. Shut up. She yelled at him. Back with Naruto. Naruto is walking home and he is thinking, I know that Tentenheim is on a team, and her teammates are Neji Hyuga the cousin of Hinata Hyuga and Rock Lee the shinobi without the ability to mold chakra to use ninjutsu and genjutsu, but is a specialist in taijutsu, and her sensei is Maeda Guy the green beast of Konoha. He thought. And he goes home, and he teleports to his room and goes to bed after he undresses. The next day, Teams 7 and 8 along with Nitsuki, Satsuki and Yakumo are waiting at the gates for the rest of the people. Where are they? It's been 10 minutes and Kakashi-sensei, Tazuna-san and Naruto-kun are not here, complained Satsuki. Don't worry Satsuki-chan, they'll be here, and I'll make sure of it, said Kushina with the last part becoming a growl, and Nitsuki then sees Kakashi and Tazuna. There are Kakashi-sensei and Tazuna-san, but where is Naruto-kun? She asked. I dunno, replied Shino. Sorry we're late, a black cat crossed our path so we had to take the long way, replied Kakashi. That's the lamest excuse I've ever heard, said an angry Kushina. Then Naruto appears. Sorry I'm late, my alarm clock didn't go off and it was a real pain to pack up my stuff, he said in an embarrassed voice as he rubbed the back of his head. Now that we are here, do we have everything we need? Asked Kushina. Question, why is Team 8 here with us? Asked a brash Kiba, and Kakashi answers that, because Hokage-sama decided to give Tazuna-san some extra protection, and that make Tazuna sigh in relief. Now again, do you guys have everything that you need? Asked Kushina again, and they reply by saying, hi, hey, where's your pack Naruto Baka? Sakura asked rudely, which rewarded her glares from the female senseis and the girls. I do have my stuff, they're just sealed inside of this scroll, said Naruto as he patted the scroll. Sakura huffed in anger as she couldn't embarrass Naruto. They accepted his answer and they walk out the gate and they are walking. Naruto is in the back with the girls while Kiba is in the front, leering at Natsuki, Satsuki and Hinata, and also having lustful thoughts on Kurenai, Enko and Kushina. Naruto heard his thoughts and telepathically tells the girls and female senseis the thoughts from Kiba's head and they glare at him making him tremble in fear. They notice the puddles on the road. Wow, what complete retards, the demon brothers, Gozu and Maizu, they are hired by Gato of Gato Corp. To assassinate Tazuna to stop him from completing the bridge, thought Naruto as he read their minds. As he predicted, the demon brothers jump out the moment they pass the puddles, their clawed gauntlets wrap around the senseis and, ripped them to pieces, 4 down. Said Gozu. Sakura screams and teams 7, 8 and 11 minus Naruto get into position in shielding Tazuna who is trembling. Naruto however was calm as a bear and twitched one of his fingers and the metal gauntlets that were going for the group came to a halt which shocked everyone, especially the demon brothers. It can't be, thought Maizu. Naruto then gets out one of his katanas and slashes them in the gut, and everyone is shocked to the core. What? No, impossible, thought the demon brothers and they dropped to the ground. They were dead before they even hit the ground. I really don't like killing, but I will if I have no other choice, said Naruto in regret. Come on out senseis, I know you're hiding in the trees, called out Naruto. What are you talking about Yubaka? They're dead, asked Sakura who was by far the most clueless kunoichi in the elemental nations. Look they're fool, said Satsuki, and Sakura looks where the senseis were killed, and sees a bunch of pieces of logs. They used the substitution jutsu before that happened, explained Natsuki. Oh, I knew that, said a stupid Kiba. No you didn't, thought everyone in annoyance, and the senseis come out. Well done Naruto, you successfully defeated the enemy without putting up much of an effort, and well done to you guys as well, you got into position to protect the bridge builder, said Kakashi. Sensei, who are those guys? Asked Hinata, and Naruto says, the demon brothers, they are Rouge ninjas from the Mist Village. They went Rouge after the failed assassination attempt on the Mizukage's life because of a bloodline rebellion. And Sakura arrogantly says, Sasuke-kun could do better. Getting groans from the senseis and the members from teams 8 and 11. Tazuna, are you going to tell the truth on why they are after you? Asked Kakashi, and Tazuna begins to sweat. I don't know what you're talking about. He lied, really now, you have Rouge ninjas after you, and they are hired by Gato of Gato Corp. And their main target is you, said Naruto. Tazuna looks down in shame. Alright, you got me, the Tarrant Gato is draining the Wave Village dry. I don't have enough for an A- rank mission because of how poor we are in Wave. He explained. So, anybody wanna continue on this mission? Asked Kakashi, and all the genin says, hi. And Naruto then takes the gauntlets and seals them into a green scroll, and seals the bodies into a red scroll. What are you doing Baka? Asked Sakura and got glared at by Kushina. What? She asked in cluelessness. He's my son, and Minato's as well, said Kushina shocking those who chose to refuse to accept it. Sakura is now looks like she's seen a ghost as she was told that, and she feels that her life was forfeit. You see Sakura, I'm sealing the gauntlets because they'll come in handy someday, and I'm sealing the bodies so I can get the bounty for the demon brothers, said Naruto. How high are their bounties? Asked Hinata. They are B-rank rogue ninjas, and their bounty is 500,000 yen, said Naruto shocking everyone except the senseis. Now we should be heading to Wave, some more of Gato's henchmen might still be out there, said Tazuna wanting to get to Wave ASAP, and they head down to the Wave village. At Gato's hideout. What do you mean they failed? I had good money for them and they fail trying to kill him, yelled a old midget. Stop whining, said a scary voice as he got his huge blade and held it near Gato's throat preparing for the strike. It looks like that I'll have to go and take the old man down myself, said the tall man. You better, I'm not in the mood for more failure, warned Gato. Back with the gang. They're taking a boat over to the other side of the huge river. We're nearing the other side of the river, but that is as far as I'm gonna get you, said the boatman. How long will we have to be on this stinking boat? Complained Kiba a little loudly. Quiet fool, you want them to hear us, ordered the boatman as he looked around to see if anyone heard. Much to his relief, no one did. Sensei, are there any ninjas in the Wave village? Asked Sakura. I'm afraid not Sakura, Wave doesn't have shinobis nor kunoichis at all, said Kakashi. Why? She asked again. Not all villages have ninjas, Sakura. There are merchant villages and minor villages in the world, explained Naruto. Who asked you, Baka? Said Sakura rudely, getting a punch in the back of the head by an angry Natsuki. Call my brother a Baka again, and I'll break you into pieces, she warned. I'd like to see you try. Sakura challenged. Natsuki gets a katana out and says, let's do it. Sakura is now scared. Sakura, there is something about the Uzumaki clan that you need to know, and it's that every Uzumaki has a bad temper, so never piss an Uzumaki off, unless you have a death wish, said Kakashi, and Sakura quickly agreed, getting an image of a very pissed off Uzumaki. Natsuki puts her katana away and glares at Sakura, who is regretting disrespecting Naruto a little. Suddenly the bushes start to ruffle and Naruto throws a kunai into the bushes. Naruto walks into the bushes and comes out with a white rabbit. Naruto, you nearly killed a poor defenseless rabbit, shrieked Sakura, making everyone except Naruto face fall into the ground. Man, she really is an idiot, and yet she calls Naruto an idiot. You really are a fool. This rabbit is white, which means it's a winter coat, and it's the summer, that means it needs to be brown, said Naruto in an annoyed tone, making Sakura uneasy at it. That means it was raised indoors, it was used as a substitution, added Satsuki. Kakashi then senses something coming from behind, and yells out, get down. And everyone gets down, with Kakashi pulling Tazuna down. A massive blade spins over them and strikes a tree, and a lone figure is standing on the blade. They all look at him. Is somebody gonna tell him that he's standing the wrong way, or is he overcompensating for something? Said Naruto, making the girls giggle, and the guys snickering. I admit that was pretty funny, thought Kiba as he snickered with Sasuke. The man gets an anger vein on his head and barks, watch who, you are talking to brat, I could kill you in a heartbeat. And Naruto smirks and says, good luck with that. Kakashi walks up and says, Zabuza Momochi, the demon of the bloody mist, A-rank rogue ninja, you need to be careful with him. Making some of the genin to get uneasy, Kiba, Sakura and Sasuke to be exact. Zabuza then says, Kakashi of the Sharingan Eye, Kurenai the Genjutsu mistress, Anko the snake princess, and Kushina the red death of Konoha, did I get them right? Sasuke is shocked at this intel. Sharingan Eye, how can he have the Sharingan? Only an Uchiha wields that kind of power. He thought as he looked at Kakashi, could he be? Sasuke thought again. Stand back, Kurenai-san, Anko-san, Kushina-sama, and I got this. If he's our opponent, then I'll be needing this, said Kakashi. The genins look on and Kakashi pulls up his headband covering his left eye, and it opens to reveal a Sharingan eye. I'm ready, he declared. The genins who don't know gasp. His eye, what is that? Thought Kiba in shock. Well, looks like I get to see the Sharingan in action. This is an honor, said Zabuza. What the hell is the Sharingan? Asked Kiba. A rare power, it only resides in the Uchiha. The Sharingan user can instantly see and comprehend any genjutsu, taijutsu and ninjutsu, and can reflect the attack back at the attacker. The Sharingan is a special and rare form of dojutsu, however there is more to the Sharingan than that, a lot more, explained Sasuke. Kiba is in shock, and Zabuza then smirks and says, you got it right, boy, but you only scratch the surface. The Sharingan can analyze an opponent's technique, and then copy it to the smallest detail. And then mist covers the entire forest. As for you, Jonin, the assassination unit of the Hidden Mist, we had a standing order to destroy you on sight. Your profile was in our bingo book. They called you the man who copied over 1,000 jutsu, Kakashi, the copy ninja, continued Zabuza. The genins except for Naruto are in shock at this. What, could our senseis be famous ninjas? Thought Sakura. Whoa, that's awesome, said Kiba in awe. That red-haired boy doesn't seem surprised. It's like he knew about it the whole time and never said anything. I may need to be careful with him, thought Zabuza with suspicion. Now, I need to kill you so I can get to the old man, said Zabuza, getting a look of fear from Tazuna, and the genins minus Naruto get into position to protect him, much to the surprise of the other genins. Naruto, we need you to stay out of this fight until it starts to get rough for us, ordered Kakashi. As you wish, answered Naruto in understanding. Oh, 4 against 1 this should be interesting, said an amused Zabuza, and then they start to fight. Kushina, Anko and Kurenai fought clones of Zabuza while Kakashi fought the real Zabuza. Then Zabuza and his clones make hand signs, water style, water prison jutsu, called out Zabuza and his clones, and the senseis are trapped in spheres of water. Damn, he got behind us by going underwater, not good, thought Anko. Go, get the bridge builder out of here, he is out of your league, you guys don't stand a chance. Kakashi told the Genins, but we won't leave you for. Yelled Sakura, just go, we'll be fine. Shouted Anko. Naruto then walks up and gets into a fighting stance. No, I will not abandon my comrades, it means I won't abandon my senseis at all. He declared. Zabuza is now grinning. Well, looks like we have a genin who's brave enough to face off a former Anbu of the Mist Village. He said. The genins then pale at that. Zabuza was an Anbu rank shinobi. Even the senseis are surprised at this. We know that Naruto received special training from Hiruzen and Inoichi. Maybe he will have a better chance at defeating Zabuza, thought Kushina in worry. Naruto, get out of there, he's an Anbu ranked shinobi, he'll kill you, shouted Sakura, and Naruto says, no, I have received some special training in Konoha ever since I was 5 years old, now it's time to put my years of training to the test against an Anbu ranked shinobi, said Naruto with a confident smirk. Boy, what is your name? Asked Zabuza. I am Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, son of Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki and the shinobi who's going to kick your ass. Said Naruto, making Zabuza's eyes widen at this. Another Uzumaki. I thought Kushina was the only Uzumaki left, I guess there's more still in hitting. Thought Zabuza in shock. Naruto then goes for his sleeve, pulls it up and reveals a symbol on his left arm. Everyone is surprised at this, a seal. Thought the senseis. That dope had gotten training in Fuinjutsu, I will need to get him to teach me that power so I can kill Itachi, thought Sasuke in anger. Naruto then bites his thumb and swipes the blood on the seal and then the seal puffs smoke. As the smoke cleared, everyone is in shock and awe at what they saw. There in Naruto's hands was the famous Nejibana. Naruto gave the Nejibana a few twirls and swipes. Is that what I think it is? Thought Kakashi in awe. What, how does he have it? Kurenai screamed in her head from the shock she is in. It can't be. Thought Zabuza in awe, causing him to lose focus on holding up the water prison jutsu, the Nejibana. Thought Kushina in awe. With the genins, what, how did he find it? Shouted Nitsuki in her mind from shock. No way. Thought Sakura. What is that? Asked Kiba. The Nejibana, a legendary weapon of the Uzumaki clan. It's said that only an Uzumaki pure of heart can wield it and use it to its full potential. It grants the wielder the power of the seas, the ability to cause earthquakes and lets the wielder breathe underwater. It's said to be indestructible and legend has it that the Nejibana was blessed by the sea god, Poseidon himself, explained Sakura. How many legendary weapons of the Uzumaki clan are there? Asked Kiba. There is a total of 7. Said Nitsuki. Well brat, looks like I get to fight you in a weapons battle, the Kubikiribocho vs the Nejibana. This battle will be legendary. Said Zabuza with a grin, it will be legendary indeed. Agreed Naruto. Then Naruto and Zabuza clash. The onlookers are in awe that Naruto is going toe-to-toe with Zabuza, a member of the 7 swordsmen of the mist. Naruto then goes through some hand signs, fire style, fireball jutsu, called out Naruto and blows a huge ball of fire at Zabuza. Zabuza then goes through some hand signs himself, water style, water dragon jutsu, Zabuza called out. When it was about to hit, Naruto with a bamf, teleported behind Zabuza much to his shock. How did you get behind me? He shouted. That's my secret. Answered Naruto with a playful grin, and then grabs his head and reads Zabuza's mind, copying what jutsu Zabuza knew, learning what he did and about when Zabuza was told to kill Tazuna by Gato. As Naruto was about to finish off Zabuza, 2 Senbon needles flew through the air and struck Zabuza in the side of the neck, causing Naruto to let go. Naruto then looks at where the needles came from, and saw a woman in a mask. I thank you for finding him, I've been hunting him down for months, you have my gratitude, she said. Naruto then checks for a pulse on Zabuza and finds none, a death-like state, that means he must be Zabuza's partner. Thought Naruto, and then the hunter nin shunshuns to Zabuza's dead body, and then shunshuns away, and the senseis walk up to Naruto and Kakashi says, well done Naruto, that special training has paid off. And Kushina says, you did great Naruto-kun, and I'm surprised that you have the Nejibana. We are going to need an explanation from you, mister. Naruto then feels a little lightheaded and collapses. Naruto called his teammates. It's alright, he just used up a lot of chakra, nothing that some bed rest can fix, said Kakashi. Alright, my house is not that far from here, I'll lead you to it, said Tazuna, and the teams follow him. Naruto was being carried by Kushina. The girls couldn't help but blush at how peaceful Naruto looked. He looks so cute when he's asleep, thought the girls. Naruto wakes up to the sunlight and finds himself in a bed. He sits up and sees his teammates and senseis by his bedside. How are you feeling, Naruto-kun? Asked Nitsuki worriedly. Naruto smiles and says, a little better. Naruto tries to sit up, but Kushina stops him and gently pushes him back onto the bed. Naru-chan, you need your rest, you suffered chakra exhaustion, she said. Kushina was just as worried as Nitsuki, right? Said Naruto. So sensei, who was that girl that defeated Zabuza? Asked Sakura. That was a hunter nin from the mist, they are trained in knowing the human body and its weak points. Answered Kakashi, and then Hinata asks, how come she took the body with her instead of destroying it on the spot? If she really was a hunter ninja from the mist, then she would have destroyed the body on the spot immediately, but she took it with her because she's his accomplice. Naruto said with a smirk. Sakura was about to berate him about who asked him, but she remembered Natsuki's threat and wisely kept her mouth shut. That's correct, Naruto, it seems you were suspicious about her, said Kakashi with an eye smile. Then a beautiful young woman walks in with a cup of water. Here you go, this should help you, she said as she handed the cup to Naruto. Thank you, ma'am. He said politely. Call me Tsunami, said the now named Tsunami, who has a small blush at his looks. Sure, answered Naruto. What are you guys talking about? You demolished that assassin, said a clueless Tazuna, and Kakashi says, here's the truth, Zabuza is still alive. And Sakura, Kiba and Tazuna are in shock, while Tsunami's eyes widen. But Naruto checked his pulse. He said no heartbeat. Said a clueless Sakura, his heart did stop, but that was only a temporary state. Explained Naruto. How did you figure that out, Naruto-kun? Asked Nitsuki. And Naruto reaches into his pouch and pulls out a Senbon needle. This is what that hunter nin used to take Zabuza down. Anyone care to guess what this is? Asked Naruto with a smirk. Sasuke gets a look of shock. Throwing needles. He said, correct, these are Senbon needles and they are used for acupuncture, but the needles struck Zabuza in the neck, putting him in a death-like state, said Kushina in wisdom. But how did she know which spot to strike for a death-like state? Asked Sakura. Hunter nin are also Anbu. You see, Anbu are trained to know the human body and its weak points. That's what makes Anbu ninjas so terrifying, explained Naruto. Very good, Naruto. Maybe you should have been made a Jonin instead of a Genin, said Kakashi. Hokage-sama is thinking about promoting me after the Chunin exams, thought Naruto. How can he be a Jonin? He doesn't even look strong. Asked a clueless Sakura. You see, Naruto had received special training from some powerful shinobi so that he can defend himself. Naruto was always been someone who couldn't fight back until the Hokage decided to put a stop to it. Lied Kakashi, but it wasn't a total lie. Kakashi wanted to keep Naruto's unusual Kekkei Genkais a secret even from these genin. Ah, come on, we wanna know, pleaded Sakura in tears at wanting to know how Naruto was so strong. This made Sasuke very curious about it as well. And Naruto then says, Sakura, sometimes it's better not to know, because knowing too much can be bad for you. Naru-chan, how did you come to possess Nejibana, a legendary weapon of the Uzumaki clan? Asked Kushina wanting to know, and Naruto says, I got it in a weapons shop in Konoha, one that actually accepts me. I happened to notice this as a rusty pitchfork in a display case, and the owner Isao Higurashi let me look at it while I held it in my hands. And when it came into my hands, it transformed into this. This made everyone shocked. It shocked Tazuna the most because he knows about the legendary weapons of the Uzumaki clan. Okay, can someone tell me what the legendary weapons of the Uzumaki clan are? Asked a really confused Kiba, and Tazuna walks to his desk and bring out an ancient-looking book. This will show you everything you need to know about them, said Tazuna as he gave Naruto the book so he can read what the other weapons are. Naruto opens the book to the page that has the info on the legendary weapons of the Uzumaki clan. Here it is, the legend of the weapons of the Uzumaki clan. Said Naruto, and Nitsuki asks, can you read it Naruto-kun? And Naruto says, sure can. Over 1,000 years ago, an Uzumaki by the name of Totosai watched as his clan members were being used for slavery. Young Totosai wanted to bring peace, love and hope to his clan and to others, so he decided to forge 7 magical weapons that could be the backbone for giving the Uzumaki clan so much hope and courage. In his 10 years of forging, Totosai made 7 powerful weapons for his clan. Nejibana, the weapon forged from the fang of the legendary sea monster, the Kraken, it can grant the wielder power over the seas, allows the wielder to breathe underwater, cause earthquakes and is said to be indestructible. Zangetsu, the weapon forged from a moonstone that fell to earth from the moon, it can grant the wielder the ability to stop major bleeding, can enhance the wielder's strength and speed, the ability to make clones at will to outnumber his/her opponent and grants teleportation powers to the wielder. Harem, the weapon forged from the bones of an ice dragon, it grants the wielder enhanced speed and gives its wielder the ability to generate ice to freeze and obliterate the enemy into pieces. Ryujin Jaka, the weapon forged from the ashes of a phoenix, it grants the wielder complete control over fire, can produce a fire so powerful it can be nearly impossible to cut through and put out, a fire that reduces all creation to ash. Tessaiga, the weapon forged from the fangs of the king of the dog demons, it grants the wielder the ability to slay 1,000 lives in one swing, it also has other abilities that the wielder needs to discover. Tenseiga, the weapon forged from the blood of an archangel losing blood while fighting a demon, it grants the wielder the ability to save 1,000 lives in one swing, purify the cursed and heal the sick, even grants the wielder the power to send the most corrupted tyrants and enemies to the netherworld and can produce a barrier to protect the wielder. And the most powerful and most terrifying weapon that Totosai ever created. A weapon forged from the fires of hell, the light of the heavens and the life of the earth, it is a sword called Mokashiroku, a word that means apocalypse. Mokashiroku, it grants the wielder unimaginable power, the ability to alter fate, reality, time and space, and this weapon is the key to the beginning of the apocalypse, and Totosai communicated with the gods that Mokashiroku would only be used as a last resort, only to be used if it's absolutely necessary. The gods agreed that Mokashiroku would be used when its services would be needed, and Totosai needed to find worthy candidates for these powerful weapons, and he found some in his own clan. Kyan Uzumaki was given the Nejibana, Ichigo Uzumaki was given Zangetsu, Toshiro Uzumaki was given Harem, Genryusai Uzumaki was given Ryujin Jaka, Inuyasha Uzumaki was given Tessaiga and Sesshomaru Uzumaki was given Tenseiga. The 6 have fought against the powerful foe that was the mastermind who started the slavery of the Uzumaki clan, his name is Akuma Shadow Uoka. The 6 warriors were closing in on victory when Akuma suddenly unleashed a powerful beast onto the elemental nations, Leviathan. The 6 Uzumaki warriors were close to defeat, but Totosai sees this as the perfect moment to use Mokashiroku. He finds a perfect warrior of the Uzumaki clan to defeat the Leviathan. The name of the worthy Uzumaki is Senso Uzumaki. With the help of Senso Uzumaki, the other 6 were able to defeat Leviathan and banished it into the underworld, hoping that he wouldn't rise again, and Akuma was captured, and the Uzumakis locked him in a deep dungeon and Akuma was chained to the floor, but the Uzumaki clan was afraid that Akuma would escape and terrorize them again, so they sealed him away inside a black coffin, never to be opened. The 7 Uzumaki were hailed as heroes, and Totosai was granted the status of clan head of the Uzumaki clan for creating such powerful weapons to save them. He also decided that if Leviathan returns and a evil just as bad as Akuma were to rise to get control of the elemental nations, then one of his descendants would be the one to stop the corruption and the evil in the world. Then many years later, the Uzumaki clan were ambushed by 3 of the major villages, Iwa, Kiri and Kumo. With help of the Uchihas thanks to Madara, the Uzushiogakure was destroyed. But Totosai, who was still alive, escaped with other members of the clan that survived. Just before Totosai went into hiding, he ordered his fellow clan members to seal away the weapons and the jutsu of the Uzumaki clan until a direct descendant of Totosai comes to claim it, but he wanted them to make special hiding spots for the legendary weapons, for no one can use them for their own selfish gains. Totosai himself declared that he would guard Mokashiroku until its services are once again needed. So he disappeared into the nations, and was never seen again. Quote. That's the end of the legend. Said Naruto. Everyone that heard Naruto read the legend are in awe and shock. What happened to Totosai Uzumaki? Asked Nitsuki, and Kushina says, well, some say he died. No, I reckon he's still out there waiting for his direct descendant to come and get Mokashiroku when the time is right. Wow, I never knew that all happened. Said Kiba in shock, and Sasuke is having greedy thoughts about searching for such weapons so he can get revenge on his brother. When I find these weapons, I will find Itachi and kill him. Those weapons should be handed to the Uchihas. He thought with greed, unaware that Naruto heard his thoughts. Naruto smirks and thinks, foolish boy, only the Uzumaki clan can wield such powerful weapons. But how are we going to fight Zabuza as we are? Asked Sakura in worry. And Kakashi says, we'll train you, but Naruto doesn't have to do the same training as you guys are gonna get, he can do his own training. And the genin are jealous that Naruto won't be joining them for training. A little girl about the age of 12 walks in and runs to her grandfather and hugs him. Welcome back, Grandpa. She said happily, and Tazuna says, hello there, In. These are the ninjas that are protecting me. In looks at them and says, they're gonna die when they face Gato. Kiba glares at her and Tsunami gets mad at her daughter. In, that was very rude, apologize now. She said to In sternly, and In looks at her and says, but Mom, Gato will just wipe them out like the last hero that tried to stand up to him. Listen, brat, I don't know what you're talking about, but you need to be careful what you say or you'll be sorry. Barked Kiba. In just runs upstairs, and Tazuna says, sorry about In, she just doesn't like heroes, she been like this ever since what happened with the last hero that stood up to Gato. Don't worry about it, she just isn't in her right mind, give her some time. Said Naruto wisely, and Tazuna says, you're right. Back with Zabuza. Zabuza is bedridden, he is having plans on defeating the red-haired young man for defeating him easily. Just you wait, Naruto Uzumaki, I will try and find out your weakness and defeat you, he thought. Zabuza-sama, are you alright? Asked Haku. She is very worried about Zabuza's health, and Zabuza says, that red-haired boy defeated me easily, next time I'll drive him to his knees. Zabuza-sama, you shouldn't push yourself, you'll only shorten your lifespan. Said Haku, and Zabuza decides to rest. Fine, but next time I'll defeat him, he darkly said. I'll go get some herbs for you, you'll need them to get better. Said Haku, and Zabuza says, go ahead, just don't take too long. Haku then walks to her room, and she changes to a kimono and lets her hair flow, and she takes a basket to collect herbs. Back with the gang. Kakashi and the other Jonin senseis are training their genins while Naruto is training near the river. Naruto at the river, alright, time for some telepathy training. He said, and then goes into meditation state and focuses. Naruto concentrates and slows his breathing, he then reaches out to the water to make some water levitate into a bubble-like appearance. As he does this, Kushina, Enko, Kurenai and Kakashi decide to watch. Naruto keeps focusing and then finally, a large bubble of water appears levitating above the river with an added bonus of some fish inside with the exception of a couple sharks, dolphins, octopus and eels. The hidden audience is in awe at the display. Naruto could possibly surpass the first ever telepath, Koga Fujimoto. Wow, Naru-chan is one powerful telepath. Thought a starstruck Kushina. Oh, I am so gonna want to know him better even more. Thought Enko and Kurenai with looks of lust and want in their eyes. Naruto has a massive amount of potential, he will surpass all the Hokage. Thought Kakashi proudly. Unknown to them, two cloaked figures are in the trees above the four. Well, he is certainly a powerful lad. Said the first one in pride at his descendant's display of power. Indeed, Totosai, he is your successor and is also my successor. He will be taught the ways of the telepath when the time comes. Said the other one. That's fine with me, Koga. I fear the return of Akuma will be sooner than we thought. We may need to take him for training when it's time. Said the now named Totosai. Yes, Naruto will be the one who shall save the world. Minato and his cronies will be brought to justice. Said the now named Koga. When do you think will be a good time to start training him? Asked Totosai. About a year, but that should be enough time to get some more of the citizens of Konoha onto his side so he can rebel against Minato's corruption in the future. Said Koga. Totosai nods at Koga's decision. They go back to their respected hideouts and wait until it's time to train Naruto, and Naruto is opening his eyes and he sees that he did it. He grins excitedly and starts to laugh. I did it. I can manipulate water with my telepathy, he thought proudly. He lets the water go back down into the river and he stands back up. Yes, I did it, he declared, and Kushina along with Kakashi, Anko and Kurenai walk out. That was very impressive, Naru-chan, said Kushina in a proud voice. Naruto looks behind himself and sees his mother and the other senseis clapping for him. That was a magnificent display of power, Naruto-kun, said Kurenai, and Anko says, that was awesome. Naruto blushes a little at the compliments that Kurenai and Anko gave him. I think it's time to know what your chakra nature is, said Kakashi with an eye smile, and Naruto is shocked at this. My chakra natures? He asked in shock. Yes, Naru-chan, every shinobi and kunoichi has a chakra nature. Those with more than one chakra nature are usually jonin that can use them, but it is possible to wield up to all 5 chakra natures, explained Kushina, and Naruto asks, which chakra natures does Natsuki-chan have? And Kushina says, Natsuki-chan has the wind nature, lightning nature and water nature. Do you think that Natsuki-chan could be wielding a Kekkei Genkei that she hasn't awakened yet? Asked Naruto. Always possible, said Kakashi. Yes, now we'll get to see what chakra nature that you have, Naru-chan, said Kushina. She has been curious about Naruto's chakra nature since day 1 of the day that they became Team 11. So how are we going to find out what my chakra nature is? Asked Naruto, and Kakashi takes a couple pieces of paper out. These are chakra paper. They will allow us to see what chakra nature that you possess, Naruto. We'll demonstrate, he said. Kakashi's paper wrinkles up. Kurenai's paper bursts into flames. Anko's also paper bursts into flames while Kushina's paper cuts in half and goes soggy. You see, Naruto, I have the lightning nature. Kurenai and Anko have the fire nature while Kushina-sama has the wind nature and water nature, said Kakashi, and Minato has wind and lightning. I just want you to know, said Kushina. Let's do this, said Naruto, and Kakashi gives him a chakra paper. Focus your chakra into the paper, said Anko, and Naruto does so. And what the paper does shocks everyone, even Naruto. First the paper splits into 4 pieces, then one gets soggy, another bursts into flames, the next one turns to dirt and crumbles away and the final piece wrinkles up. How can this be possible? Asked Kakashi in shock. Kushina is the most shocked. I can't believe it, my Naru-chan has all 5 chakra natures, she thought. Is this normal? Asked Naruto in shock, and Kurenai says, no, this is very rare, only a select few possess all 5, and one of them is the Raikudo Sennin. And Naruto says, guess I gotta start training then. Yes, Naru-chan, but we will start with the water. We haven't seen you use water-style jutsu, so if you want I can teach you the water-style jutsu that I know, said Kushina, and Kakashi says, and me too. And Naruto asks, you know water-style jutsu too? Yes, I'm not the copy ninja for nothing, said Kakashi, and Naruto says, I scanned Zabuza's mind and I also learned what jutsu he possesses. Their eyes widen at this and Kushina asks, what jutsu does Zabuza know? And Naruto says, he knows the flying revolving sword, the hidden mist jutsu, the silent killing technique, the water clone jutsu, the water prison jutsu, the water style, giant vortex jutsu, the water style, water bomb jutsu and the water style, water dragon jutsu. Their eyes widen at this. That telepathy is really scary when you use it, Naruto-kun, said Kurenai, and Naruto says, thanks. Back at the house, after training with Kushina and Kakashi in water-style jutsu, Naruto and the rest of his fellow team members are at the table having dinner with Tazuna and his family. In is just sitting there in her chair glaring at Naruto. Why do you try so hard? Gato will just kill you, she asked in anger, and Naruto says, because we shinobi and kunoichi never back down no matter how strong an enemy is. Shut up, you'll never understand my pain, you don't even look like you've suffered at all, what do you know of suffering? Snarled in, then the temperature drops to freezing and everyone looks at Naruto and he has a pissed off look on his face. You arrogant brat, you claim that I know nothing about pain and suffering. Well, newsflash, I had a life so horrifying that it can make your suffering look as gentle as a sleeping kitten. I had to live out on the streets after I was kicked out of the orphanage at the age of 4. I had to eat out of garbage cans in Allies. I had to live with mobs coming after me all because of something that I had no control over. I would have died if it wasn't for the leader of my village. He gave me a home so I wouldn't have to live on the streets. I had very few people that really care for me, but until I nearly died all because of some mob of stupid villagers that believed that I was a demon, so don't say that I don't know what suffering is. Naruto barked. Naruto, you said enough. Sakura barks out at him as she stands up, and then she gets the look in his eye that makes her afraid. Sit your ass down, and don't butt into my business again. He growled at her, making Sakura quickly sit back down. Screw it, I'm going to blow off some steam, growled Naruto, and he stormed off, slamming the door. Everyone is in shock. I've never seen Naruto that angry before. He's the rock of our team, said Kakashi, and Sakura asks fearfully, was everything that Naruto said true, sensei? Did all that really happen to him? And Kushina says, I'm afraid so, but it is the sugar-coated side of it. What happened? Asked Tsunami with tears in her eyes. Kakashi and Kushina explain what has happened in Naruto's life. When they finished, everyone had different reactions. The girls, even Sakura, were in tears. Tazuna grips his hand in anger. I never knew that a child that kind could suffer that much. Nitsuki whimpers, oh Naruto, I didn't know. Sasuke is indifferent. He scoffs, where did he get that from? Maybe he made that up to make people feel sorry for him. And he walks to his room. Kiba was the same, and he says, he thinks that he can just get pity and feel better. Well, he should know his place at the bottom of the food chain. And he goes to his room. Spoiled brats, no wonder that they are like this. They think they're so cool, and come from a noble clan and a clan with the canine-style taijutsu, said Anko. With Naruto as soon as he closed the door. Naruto is pissed off to no end, stupid little brat, thinking that she has had a bad life when there will always be someone with a life worse than hers. He growled. As he passes an alley, he hears whimpering from there. He decides to investigate and finds a box with two pups inside it, a snow-white pup with ocean blue eyes and a pitch-black pup with emerald green eyes. Naruto gets a better look at them. Wolf pups, why would they be here in an alley? Thought Naruto. He uses his telepathy on them and finds out that the white wolf pup is a female dire wolf and the black wolf pup is a male timber wolf. He also learns that they were abandoned. Naruto took pity on them and decided to take them with him and take care of them. Hey little guys, he said softly to them. They whimper some more and try to go near him, and he gently picks them up and holds them near his chest and they fall asleep. Cute, I think I'll keep them, he said. Naruto puts them in his robe so they feel safe and warm, and he searches the village for a vet. He sees someone. Excuse me. He asked the person, what is it? Asked the man back. I found these wolf pups abandoned in an alley and I'm looking for a vet, said Naruto as he showed the person the pups, and the man looks at the pups and feels sorry for them and says, there's no vet around here, sorry. That's fine, said Naruto, and he walks to a forest, and he decides to train, but first he makes a shadow clone to watch over the wolf pups. He then starts working on the jutsu he copied from Zabuza's mind and he mastered them in a matter of minutes thanks to his shadow clones. As he's resting, a new person is walking through the forest and she sees him sleeping on a tree trunk with a pair of wolf pups sleeping soundly on his lap. She goes over to him and he then says, hello Haku, making her stiffen in surprise. How do you know my name? She asked in shock, and Naruto opens his eyes and then he smirks. I can read your mind. I know you're picking medical herbs for Zabuza, he said, making her stiffen in fear, and he says, I know you don't like to kill, but not everyone is a mindless tool, everyone has a dream. What's your name? Asked Haku, and Naruto says, I am Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. That makes her look at him in surprise. This is the young man that gave Zabuza a run for his money. Can I ask you something? She asked, and Naruto says, go ahead, and Haku asks, do you have a dream and anyone precious to you? Naruto says, my dream is to become a legend, become Hokage, and my precious people are the ones that have been there for me back in Konoha when my childhood was nothing but pure darkness and despair. Haku picks some herbs with Naruto helping her, making her smile in appreciation. Thank you for helping me, now I must really be going, she said. Later Haku-chan, tell Zabuza that I said hello, said Naruto, making her blush, and then says, oh, and by the way, I'm a boy, and Naruto says, nice try, I can tell when someone is lying. Haku giggles and says, "Oh well, at least I tried to trick you." "No one can trick me," said Naruto, and he goes back to Tazuna's house and he tells the senseis about finding the wolf pups. The girls squealed like schoolgirls and tried to cuddle them, but Naruto used his telepathy to stop them. Naruto apologized to Sakura for what he said, and Sakura just said that she deserved it and that she was sorry for her behavior towards him during the mission. Kakashi said that Naruto would have to take them to Hana for a checkup back in Konoha. Naruto said that he would do that. Kiba, being the fool that he is and tried to take the wolf pups away from Naruto, but the senseis had to discipline Kiba about trying to take Naruto's new pets, and Naruto was thinking of names for them, and is having trouble with it. After a week of training, Naruto wakes up in his bed and finds a note by his bedside. His pups are sleeping on the bed with him feeling comfortable around him. Naruto looks at the note and it reads, "Naru-chan, me and the senseis wanted you to rest and conserve your strength until we get back from defeating Zabuza at the bridge. I know that you'll just teleport to the bridge just to help, but we want you to guard the house so that no one can harm Tsunami and In. Please Naru-chan, do this for me. Your mother Kushina." Naruto sighs and says, "Guess they want me to be the secret weapon. Well, I may need to teach them a lesson when it comes to comrades." And then he hears a scream. Naruto jumps up and looks outside and sees In standing up to Gado's thugs as they have Tsunami hostage. Naruto gets pissed off. "Foolish thugs, I can easily defeat them," he thought. But one of the thugs has a sword that Naruto feels power from. The gray-haired thug is holding that sword that has power. Naruto uses his telepathy on the sword. To his surprise, it's the Tessaiga. How did he find a legendary weapon from my clan? I need to get it away from him," he thought in shock. In charges at the thugs that have her mother hostage. The thugs go in for the kill, ignoring the cries of Tsunami to leave In alone. When the thugs get into striking position, they try to slash In down, but someone else blocks their way. Naruto had teleported between In and the thugs. "You two have made the biggest mistake of your lives. And you," he said, but he said the last part to the gray-haired one. "You have something that belongs to my clan. I'd like it back." He finished. The power that Naruto was radiating made In go unconscious. "You mean this useless thing?" he asked arrogantly, and then Naruto just teleports in front of him and stabs him in the chest with his katana. "The Tessaiga is a weapon that only a member of my clan can wield," said Naruto as he gets Tessaiga from the man. "You'll pay for killing him, brat. I'll kill you and then go for the lady there," said the other thug, making Tsunami widen her eyes in fear. But Naruto unsheaths Tessaiga and swings at him as Tessaiga takes a different form. As the blade becomes huge, he sliced the thug's head off. Naruto sheaths Tessaiga as it goes back to sealed form. He goes to Tsunami and frees her. "Thank you, Naruto," she said, and Naruto says, "No problem." Naruto was about to head towards the bridge, until Tsunami grabs his hand, turns him around and just slams her lips onto his. This surprised Naruto as no woman did this to him. They separate and Naruto says, "Wasn't expecting that," and Tsunami with a blush says, "I'm sorry Naruto, but I love you." That shocked Naruto even more. He then smiles. "Thank you Tsunami-chan, I really appreciate that," he said. "Naruto-kun, I overheard the thugs say that there are females being shipped to Gado from other countries. Please save them so they don't suffer a fate worse than death," she pleaded to him. Naruto then gets angry. "Damn that little man to hell. I'll make him suffer for that," he growled, making Tsunami shiver with lust and want. "Go get em," said Tsunami with determination, and Naruto grins and teleports to the river after he makes a shadow clone to protect Tsunami. In and the pups, and sees the boat with 4 females that are beautiful to his eyes. One was blonde with a Kumo headband, dark eyes and Anbu-style clothing. Another has dark skin with green hair and orange eyes. She was also wearing a white short sleeveless midriff with a fishnet armor under it, long white armlets and fishnet shorts with a short white apron skirt over it. The third one has long reddish brown hair under a bandana, bluish green eyes and a mole under her left eye, adding more beauty to her. The last one has long orange hair, brown eyes, wearing a gray vest and a pair of brown knee-length shorts. Naruto growls at this. He absolutely despised rapists and Gado was so going to die for this. Naruto uses his magnetism manipulation on the boat and it levitates into the air, and then Naruto crushes it after making a shadow clone to get the 4 females off the boat. The girl with blonde hair says, "Thank you so much for saving us." Naruto smiles at them, "You're welcome," he said. The smile he gave them made them blush a little. "Who are you?" asked the green-haired girl. "I am Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, son of Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki. I'm also the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi," said Naruto, making their eyes widen. "This is the son of the Yondaime Hokage. I am Yugito ni, Jinchuriki of the Nibi," said the blonde girl. "I'm Fu, Jinchuriki of the Nanabi," said the green-haired girl. "I'm Amaru, an apprentice doctor," said the reddish-brown-haired girl. "I'm Sasama Fuma, a former member of the Fuma clan, until I was banished," said the orange-haired girl. "Banished? How did that happen?" asked Naruto, and Sasama says, "Because I went against the beliefs that the rest of the Fuma clan members had when they joined Orochimaru." And Naruto says, "I'm sorry to hear that." And Sasama smiles, "Thank you," she said sweetly. "Okay, now I gotta get to the bridge," said Naruto, and the girls get confused. "Why?" asked Amaru. "Because my teammates are up there. They're fighting Zabuza Momochi and I need to assist them," explained Naruto. "Can we come? We can offer backup," asked Fu, and Naruto says, "Sure, I appreciate the help." He holds out his hand and they grab on and he teleports to the bridge. At the bridge before Naruto woke up, Kakashi and his fellow team members are on the bridge with Tazuna. "We need to be ready, we don't know what they'll be planning," said Kakashi, and Sasuke just grunts, "They won't last against me, I'm an Uchiha, an elite," he boasts. The others groan, "Oh boy, he's gonna get us killed if he keeps on bragging about his clan being so great," they thought. "What?" gasped Tazuna in shock at what he saw. "All the bridge builders are on the ground unconscious. What happened here? They're on the ground," asked Kakashi in confusion. Then he notices the mist appearing. "Oh no," he thought. "Everyone into position, we're not alone," he orders, and they get into position and hear a voice all too familiar. "Well, Kakashi, we meet again, and I hope your little genin are going to fight this time. That Naruto boy is worthy of being a swords master and a worthy opponent." Kakashi and the other senseis are shivering in fear. "He wants to fight Naru-chan, he just wants to settle the score with him," thought Kushina in worry. Sasuke is shaking and then Zabuza says, "Well, looks like one of your genin is shaking in their shoes. I guess he's afraid that he'll lose." And Sasuke says, "I'm not shaking from fear, I'm shaking with excitement." The senseis look at him and think, "Bullshit, he's scared." "Well, Haku, guess you can get the so-called Uchiha elite," said Zabuza. "As you wish, Zabuza-sama," said Haku, and she charges at Sasuke while Sasuke charges her. Haku and Sasuke clash with Kunai and Senbon. "You've gotten better, Uchiha," she said, and Sasuke says, "This is nothing, nobody can stop an Uchiha." And Haku narrows her eyes under her mask. "You believe that because of your Sharingan, your clan is unstoppable by copying other jutsu, such arrogance," she said in annoyance. Sasuke snarls, "Don't insult my clan, you nobody." And Haku says, "Well, someone is being more arrogant. You see, I have two tools in gaining the advantage. Number one is that we're surrounded by water, and second is that you only have one free hand to defend yourself." She smirks under her mask as she lifts her left hand into a hand sign. Sasuke's eyes widen in shock. "What? Using one hand?" he thought in surprise. Haku then goes through some hand signs with one hand. Kakashi and the other Konoha ninjas are in shock at this. Hand signs with a single hand, "I've never seen that before," thought Kakashi in shock. Haku finishes up the hand signs and says, "Secret jutsu, 1,000 needles of death," and then 1,000 water needles appear from the water surrounding them, aiming right at Sasuke. Sasuke then goes into a one-handed hand sign and thinks, "Remember the training, just focus and wait for the perfect moment." The needles now move full speed at him and he dodges, and Sasuke says, "That won't get me." And Haku says, "Kosi, aren't you? Well, let's see your Sharingan stop this." And she makes a hand sign that looks like the tiger hand sign, except the middle fingers are going around the pointer fingers. While this is going on, Zabuza is facing the Jonins while the Genins are protecting Tazuna. "Well, never thought that I get to face you four in battle again," said Zabuza with a grin. "We know you're wanting to fight Naruto, but he's not here, so you'll just have to fight us," said Kakashi, and Zabuza laughs. "Guess we'll just have to fight until Naruto gets here," he said. Sasuke is in a bind. Haku has made a dome of ice mirrors. Hey, I can see a lot of myself. I like this attack. Hey there, handsome. He said in humor. Haku says, glad you like it, but this is your end. Secret jutsu. Demonic ice mirrors. And she goes into one of the mirrors and then she appears on every mirror. Oh, my god, now I can only see her. I hate this attack now, said Sasuke in sadness. Well, it looks like there's no way out of this, Uchiha. Guess I win this fight, said Haku, and she then throws some Senbon needles at Sasuke, who dodges and goes to a different spot of the dome. Kakashi was watching the entire time. I couldn't even copy the jutsu. Why is that? I saw the hand signs. Then that means, he thought, until seconds later a look of realization moves rapidly onto his face. Of course, a Kekkei Genkai, declared Kakashi, and Zabuza smiles. Exactly, he said. Sakura then asks, a what? And Kakashi says, a bloodline limit. It's a secret jutsu from different clans. Then that means? Asked Sakura again. Yes, not even I can copy that jutsu, said Kakashi. I can't copy the jutsu based from a Kekkei Genkai, but Naruto can, he thought. Then all of a sudden, bamf, and from it come Naruto and 4 others, and Kakashi thinks in shock, what's he doing here and not at the house? And Naruto says, I have a shadow clone at the house protecting the others. Kakashi thinks again, damn it, forgot that he can read minds. Naruto-kun, who are those 4 with you? Asked Nitsuki with confusion. I'll explain later, we have a battle to win, said Naruto. Naruto looks at the girls behind him and says, stay here, I need to help Mr. Arrogant over there. The girls giggle at that and nod. Naruto with a bamf teleports into the dome. Sasuke and Haku are in shock at this. How did you get in here? Asked Haku in disbelief that he somehow got in. Not telling, said Naruto, and then he gets into meditation state. What are you doing, Dobi? This is no time for screwing around, shouted Sasuke, and Naruto then calmly says, Shadow Clone Jutsu, and then 14 shadow clones appear and they charge at the mirrors. As this happens, Haku then begins to mirror jump. But unfortunately for her, Naruto was using his telepathy the entire time to track her down. He then teleports in front of Haku and throws her out the dome, and the dome of ice mirrors collapses after Naruto gets Sasuke out. How were you able to do that? No one can stop my jutsu, asked Haku in shock, and Naruto says, sorry Haku-chan, but it's us less against me. Now if you'll excuse me, I have a score to settle with Zabuza. Naruto then teleports towards Zabuza to fight him, leaving a seething Sasuke and Haku, who was blushing under her mask at the name he gave her. Naruto appears between the senseis and Zabuza. Zabuza grins at this. He now has his chance to settle the score with the brat that almost defeated him. Well, looks like we have a new arrival and I get to fight him to settle this once and for all, he said with a crazed grin. Naru-chan, get out of here, you won't be able to defeat Zabuza this time, he's gotten stronger. Kushina cried out, and Naruto looks at her with a look that says, are you kidding me? Watch me, he challenged. Naruto turns his attention towards Zabuza and brings out Nejibana. Never thought that I would use Nejibana in battle against you again, said Naruto, and Zabuza says, you are indeed worthy of the title of weapons master, so let's do this. Naruto charges and so does Zabuza. They clash and clash. Zabuza then does some hand signs and calls out, water style, water dragon jutsu, and a huge dragon of water appears and charges Naruto, who is going through hand signs himself. Earth style, mud wall. He called out and a wall of rock appears from the ground blocking the water dragon. The wall is destroyed along with the water dragon, and Naruto does more hand signs, water style, water bomb jutsu. He called out and sends out a water ball the size of a 6-foot boulder at Zabuza. Zabuza dodges and then was about to do more hand signs when all of a sudden, the sound of clapping was heard. They turn and see the midget known as Gato. Young man did quite an impressive job on you, didn't he, Zabuza? He said. He has a smirk on his face. But however, I must say that I'm disappointed, he said, and Naruto reads his mind. He saw Gato having both the Tessaiga and the Tenseiga as trophies and gave the Tessaiga to one of his thugs as a reward. He also saw that he also raped a lot of women in Wave for his pleasure and saw everything that he did to the Wave village. And the most shocking memory that he saw was that Gato is a servant of Akuma Shadow Uoka and he killed In's adopted father Kaiza. Naruto begun to get angry at this and thinks, he is the most vile, most twisted and most disgusting pig that I have ever read the mind of. Single quote. Well Zabuza, this time I have a different choice for what I'm gonna do with you, said Gato as he grinned evilly, and then says, you are going to die here on this bridge. And Zabuza widens his eyes at this, what? He asked in shock, you see, shinobi as assassins costs a lot of money and to make it less expensive I'll have non-shinobi assassins kill you, explained Gato. The thugs cheer and Gato continues, well, guess the teenager has the great Zabuza defeated and has made you look gentle as a wet kitten. And the thugs laugh at the insult at Zabuza as the said man is seething in anger at being betrayed. Well Kakashi and the rest of you, looks like we're no longer enemies, now we have the same enemy, said Zabuza and Kakashi says, looks like it. And Naruto says, you have something that belongs to my clan, I would like the sword back. And Gato says, oh, you mean the Tenseiga, I figured that an Uzumaki would get them back so that the world would be peaceful again. You're a servant of Akuma, aren't you? Asked Naruto, and Gato grins like a madman and says, so, you figured it out, Lord Akuma promised me immortality if I can gather the legendary weapons of the Uzumaki clan and use them to unseal him from the black coffin of eternal slumber. And Naruto says, you won't get away with this Gato. And then Gato says, well, guess I'll just take away another thing that an Uzumaki holds dear, I'll start by killing that pale-eyed girl. And he sends a blast of violet energy from his hand at Hinata. Hinata couldn't move, it was like the power of the blast was keeping her in place and Naruto luckily used teleportation to get near her. No, Hinata. He cried out and shields her from the blast. As the blast collides with him, his body then changes, blocking the blast so that Hinata was safe and sound. As the light died down, everyone can see that Naruto's body looked different, it looked like crystals. Wow, look at him, said Natsuki in awe at what she saw. The impact of the blast caused Naruto's ponytail to come undone and just fall freely like Kushina's hair does. Naruto then suddenly feels a lot of pain in his head. Ah! He cried out in pain as he clutched his head in agony. Hinata runs to him. Naruto-kun, she asked in worry. Naruto looks at his body in surprise. My body, what's happened to it? He asked in surprise. Kakashi is in shock, he has never seen something like this before, it's like a diamond body. He whispered in awe. Gato is shocked at this and shouts, that won't save you, let's see that power stop this. He shoots a stronger blast at them. Naruto looks and holds his hands out to block, and it reflects it like a shield. You never manifested these powers before? Asked Kushina in shock, and Naruto cries out, no. The genin are staring with looks of awe at this, well except for Sasuke and Kiba they are looking at this in hate. Why does he have such power? It should belong to an elite like me, thought Sasuke in anger, and Kiba thinks, that's like a shield, why don't I have it, with I could be the alpha in Konoha. Sakura then feels some pain in the back of her head, the senseis see this and rush to her. Sakura, what's wrong? Asked Anko in worry, and Sakura says, my head hurts and I don't know why. And Kushina examines her head and notices a glow on the back of her neck. Kushina looks at her neck and sees something that makes her blood boil. It was a seal, and Kushina says, I see the problem, Sakura has a seal. And every sensei looks at her in shock and Sakura says, but how do I have a seal? I don't ever remember getting it. Kushina examines it even farther and notices another seal. She doesn't have one seal, she has two, she said. What kind of seals are they? Asked Kakashi, and Kushina says, a memory suppression seal and a true personality suppression seal. And they look at Kushina in shock and horror. Naruto however heard this and says, guess someone wanted her to be an Uchiha fangirl to get the Sharingan into the family. And Kushina says, but Kazashi would never do that, he doesn't know those seals. Then, gasped Mebuki. She snarled Mebuki's name. Stop ignoring me, alright then, I'll triple the pay for anyone who can kill them, but leave the women, they'll do nicely to replace the other women that never got to me for pleasure. Snarled Gato in anger as the thugs cheer and begin to charge. But then an arrow shoot from behind the group, and there was the entire Wave Village armed to the teeth, and their leading the mob was in. There's one little problem, if you think you can just walk into our village and just take what you want to Gato, then you'll have to go through us. Shouted in, and the rest of the villagers cheer. Tazuna has tears of joy in his eyes. The entire village, they've come, he said happily. The thugs have looks of shock on their faces and Gato shouts, I'll quadruple the pay if you can kill them all. And they cheer and charge. Naruto tries his telepathy while still in the form, and to his surprise it doesn't work. Damn it, my telepathy doesn't work in this form, I need to try something else. He thought in anger. He tries teleportation to get them all one by one. Much to his displeasure, teleportation doesn't work either. Oh come on, teleportation doesn't work either. Please have magnetism manipulation work, he thought desperately. He tries magnetism manipulation on their weapons, and to his relief it worked. The weapons then stop and turn to stab the wielders in the mob of thugs. Wah, what's happening? Cried out one of the thugs, and another cries out, my weapon's trying to stab me. The rest are crying out in fear to get away from their own weapons to avoid their own demise. But after a couple seconds, they are stabbed by their own weapons, and now, Gato stood alone. Naruto's body goes back to normal and starts to walk towards him. Gato gets afraid and cries out, please, don't kill me, I'll do what you want. And Naruto then asks, can you bring back In's father, can you bring back the people Tat you killed to get those two swords? And Gato says, no, I can't do that. And then Naruto gets Tessaiga out shocking everyone. Naruto grins and says, killing is one of the things that I really despise, but I will not regret this kill. He swings Tessaiga and off comes Gato's head. Naruto then makes 100 shadow clones. Alright, I want you to raid Gato's hideout and get the Tenseiga back from there. He orders them and they nod, and then they teleport to Gato's place to begin the raid. Why are you sending them to raid Gato's hideout? Asked Kakashi in confusion, and Naruto says, he had the Tessaiga and Tenseiga all this time until I took Tessaiga back from him, and the rest of the reason is that since Tazuna couldn't pay off an A- rank mission, I've decided to get Gato's money to APY it off so that Tazuna is off the hook. Tazuna has tears of joy in his eyes. How much money did Gato have, Naru-chan? Asked Kushina, and Naruto says, Gato has a total amount of 65 million yen, I'll be giving the rest to Wave so they can be happy again. The sensei's jaws drop at this and Sasuke is angry at this. Naruto-kun, you said that you would say who these four are. Said Natsuki, and Naruto says, they were getting shipped to Gato for his own sick pleasure, that was until I stopped it in time. Who are they? Asked Satsuki, the blonde girl is Yugito Ni, she's the Jinchuriki of the Nibi and a Kunoichi of Kumo. Said Naruto, with Yugito nodding, the green-haired girl is Fu, she's the Jinchuriki of the Nanabi and is also a Kunoichi of Taki. Naruto continued, Fu nodded with a smile, the girl with reddish-brown hair is Amaru, she's an apprentice doctor, until she was betrayed by her own master. Amaru feels hurt at being betrayed by the one person she admired, and the girl with orange hair is Sasama Fuma, she was the princess of the Fuma clan until they banished her for going against a belief that Orochimaru would make their clan stronger. Naruto finished while Sasama nodded. That made the sensei's eyes widen at the mention of Orochimaru. Alright, let's get back to the house where everything can be explained easier, said Kurenai getting nods from the others. A week later, the bridge was complete. During the week, Kiba tried to flirt and hit on Yugito, Fu, Amaru and Sasama and always got rejected, and to his discomfort they went to Naruto because they felt comfortable around him. The four girls would always be seen with Naruto when walking in town, either staying very close to him like how Amaru and Sasama were doing, or clinging to him like Yugito and Fu did. Naruto had a look at the seals on Sakura's neck and decided to let Hiruzen know about it, and either way, some people in Konoha are in trouble. Sasuke had demanded the Nejibana, Tessaiga and Tenseiga along with the jutsu that Naruto knew to be handed over, but Naruto just told him to go away. When Sasuke tried to use his Sharingan on him to get him to change his mind, Naruto copied the Sharingan and just told him that if he ever used the Sharingan on him again, then he would be in serious trouble. Naruto also took care of his wolf pups, Yugito, Fu, Amaru and Sasama squealed and tried to cuddle them like what happened with the other girls, but Naruto did the same thing to stop them, he used his telepathy. Tsunami also developed feelings for Naruto and wanted to have some alone time with him. Kushina noticed this and her motherly instincts kicked in to make sure that her little boy didn't get hurt, and Tsunami told her that it will be fine, and so Kushina finally relented and let her be a part of Naruto's life. Today was the day to head back to Konoha and we find Naruto standing with his comrades and also has the newly obtained Tenseiga. Is it really time for you guys to go back? Asked In. She really came to see Naruto as the older brother figure that she never had. I'm afraid so In, but don't worry, I'll visit when I have the time, I promise, said Naruto with a smile while ruffling In's hair affectionately making In hug him tightly. Bye Naruto-kun, I hope you take care of yourself, said Tsunami sweetly, and Naruto smiles and says, thank you Tsunami-chan. Naruto and his comrades leave. The pups are nice and snug in Naruto's robes. Yugito, Fu, Amaru and Sasama are again staying near Naruto and away from Kiba and Sasuke for they felt uncomfortable because of the looks of lust they got from the two. And back at Wave, well, the only thing we need to do is come up with a name for the bridge, said Tazuna. Let's name it, the Bridge of Hope, said Tazuna, and the villagers cheer a little, and In says, no, let's call it the Great Naruto Bridge. And Tsunami giggles, that's a good name, she said with a happy smile. Alright, the Great Naruto Bridge it is, declared Tazuna and every villager in Wave cheered loudly for it. Back with the gang, Naruto is talking with the senseis, his mother and his sister about what to name the pups and for when they see Yugito and Fu off back to their respected villages, Naruto made a scroll that tells of what happened to the girls, he gave Yugito one and gave Fu the other one. Naruto told them to give the scrolls to their village leaders which they agreed on, and they went back to their villages. Naruto and the rest of the gang traveled back to Konoha. It took 2 days to get back to the village. They told the 2 gate guards Katetsu and Izumo that they have returned from their mission. Team 7, 8 and 11 went to Hokage Tower to tell him that their mission is a success. They reach Hokage Tower, and Go in the secretary kept her mouth shut because Kushina is with them because she wanted to keep the Kyuubi brat out of the office but she fears Kushina's temper so she decided to keep quiet. In the office Hiruzen is relaxing and hears the knock on the door, come in. He said and Team 7, 8 and 11 walk in. Welcome back from your mission, how was it? Asked Hiruzen, and they explained what had happened and that Naruto and the senseis wanted to talk to him about some stuff, and he said yes. Your pays will come in the mail, and I'll make sure that you get the right amount Naruto, said Hiruzen, and Naruto nods in appreciation, and Hiruzen says, Genins are dismissed, except for Naruto and Sakura along with the senseis. The Genins except Naruto and Sakura go home, and Hiruzen activates the privacy seals, so, what did you want to talk about? Asked Hiruzen, and Naruto says, Ka-chan has found 2 seals on the back of Sakura's neck and would like to be checked out. Okay, let's have a look, said Hiruzen, and Sakura walks up to the Hokage and Hiruzen examines her neck and sees the seals, it's just as I feared. Said Hiruzen in remorse, and Naruto asks, what do you mean? And Hiruzen says, it seems that Mebuki wanted to turn Sakura into a fangirl for Sasuke and to have the Sharingan in the Haruno family, so she had Jiraiya seal up Sakura's memories and true personality making her what she is right now. So that's why she acted like she did since day one, said Anko, and Naruto asks, Sarutobi-sensei, can you remove them? I sure can, this won't take long, said Hiruzen. After a couple minutes, the seals are removed and Sakura's appearance changes a little bit, her pink hair is now past her butt, her eyes went from emerald green to garnet red and she now has ruby red lips, and Naruto says, so, this is the real you Sakura. And Sakura turns to Naruto, and she jumps into his arms saying thank you over and over and ths shocked the senseis and Naruto. After Sakura calmed down, she let Naruto go and Naruto says, I have some more information to tell you Sarutobi-sensei. And Hiruzen asks, what is it? Naruto tells him about that Naruto now has 3 of the legendary weapons of the Uzumaki clan and that he found 2 wolf pups abandoned in an alley, so they are real after all. Said Hiruzen in happiness. You know the legend Sarutobi-sensei? Asked Naruto and Hiruzen says, yes, I know the legend by heart. Totosai Uzumaki is a master blacksmith and had many students for him to teach the way of smithing. I also want you to know that there are some servants of Akuma that are trying to release him from the black coffin. Wow, I can't believe that Akuma has more servants, said Naruto in awe. What about the pups, show them to me, asked Hiruzen, and Naruto opens his robe a little and Hiruzen sees them and goes wide-eyed, I thought those 2 species of wolves are extinct, he exclaimed. What do you mean? You also know what species they are? Asked Naruto, and Hiruzen nods. Dire wolves and timber wolves are very strong canine species. Legend has it that the dire wolves have the powers of the full moon and that the timber wolves have the powers of the shadows, but there is more to it. Dire wolves and timber wolves are said to possess the strength of 1,000 men the size of Jiraiya's summon Gamabunta. He explained. Whoa, I never knew any of this. Said Kushina in awe as well as the others. Naruto, the fact that you found these two is a very good thing. That means we can save their species. Said Hiruzen. I was thinking of having them as my partners. Said Naruto, and Hiruzen smiles, just like the Inuzuka Ninkins. Why don't you take the wolf pups to Hana so she can have a look at them? He said, and Naruto says, I was gonna do that. Good. Dismissed. Said Hiruzen, and they leave, and Naruto heads to the Inuzuka compound. He knocks on the door and Sume opens the door and she blushes a little at Naruto's looks. Hello, can I help you? Asked Sume, and Naruto says, yes, do you know where Hana is? And Sume says, she's in the back taking care of the dogs. You have an appointment for your pets. A special one, answered Naruto, and Sume is interested now. How special? She asked, and Naruto opens his robe and shows the wolf pups and she goes wide-eyed and has Naruto come in. Just sit right here, I'll go get Hana. She said, and she goes to the back to get her daughter. A couple minutes later, Sume returns with Hana and she walks up to Naruto with an interested look on her face and asks, may I see them? Naruto nods and shows them to her, and Hana gets a shocked look on her face and asks him to follow her to the bedroom, and when they get there, can you place them on the table? She asked, and Naruto does so. Hana examined them and there is no problems with them and turns to Naruto, where did you get them? And Naruto says, I found them abandoned in an alley in Wave. Hana is appalled at this and says, they've been taken very good care of. Thanks, I took care of them. Said Naruto. I can't believe that the dire wolves and the timber wolves still exist. Said Hana in happiness. Yeah, I'm thinking about having them as my Ninken partners. Said Naruto. Did Kiba see you with them? Asked Hana, and Naruto says, yeah, he tried to get them away from me because he believes that only his clan can operate with dogs. And Hana gets an angry look on her face. Mom and I will have to have a word with him. She said. Thanks, I've had to deal with him through the entire mission. Said Naruto in a happy voice. So, what are you gonna name them? Asked Hana, and Naruto says, I've been thinking on them and can't think of any. And Hana decides to help him with it. Maybe some shut-eye will help you think of names for them. It's getting late anyway. She said, and Naruto says, sure, thank you. You're welcome, Naruto. Said Hana. Naruto leaves the Inuzuka compound and heads home to get some shut-eye. Now what to name you two? Maybe I'll have them in the morning. Thought Naruto. In his subconscious, Kyuubi thinks, I have the perfect names for them, and I'll tell you in the morning, Kit. Chunin exams begin. After a week free of missions, Naruto finally came up with names for the wolf pups thanks to Kyuubi. He named the dire wolf pup Luna, and the timber wolf pup Shadow. The two pups enjoyed the names and were always taken very good care of by Naruto. Naruto also thanked Kyuubi for the names and she said it's no problem with a blush with her fur hiding it, but Naruto still thinks that Kyuubi is male, and maybe one day he'll know. Naruto learned something new about the pups, and it's that these two species of wolf are able to understand human speech and are able to speak like a human when they reach a certain age. Also during the week, Naruto went to Hiruzen and told him of the new power that emerged during the mission to Wave and that he saved 4 women from a fate worse than death. 2 of them went back to their respected villages and the other 2 went with him. Hiruzen was shocked at this intel. The diamond body dubbed by Naruto as a very interesting power. Naruto told him that he couldn't use his telepathy nor teleportation in that form. The only power he can use in that form was magnetism manipulation. They decided to do some research on this new power, and they learned that since Naruto was a telepath and a Jinchuriki, he would have a 75% chance of breaking free from the Genjutsu, but the diamond body form makes him completely immune to Genjutsu. They learned that the form makes Naruto unable to be wounded. They also learned that this form can prevent him from being scanned by other telepaths, even the Yamanaka clan. It gives him superhuman strength, makes him resistant to cold and heat, makes him completely immune to poisons, and even gives him no need for water nor food while in the form. and they learned that even this form had a weakness, and it is that only diamond weapons could harm Naruto in this form. They got this intel to Danzo, and he was very interested at this new power and was curious of what new power would emerge from Naruto. Hiruzen was in shock at this, and he's as happy that Naruto has been helping others from other places. He also decreed that both Amaru and Sasama would be under Naruto's protection. That meant that nobody, not even Minato nor Sasuke and Kiba, would be able to get their hands on them. Hiruzen told the three this. Amaru and Sasama were very satisfied and both clinged to him like he was a giant plushie. Naruto of course blushed at this, and the part that both their chests were rubbing against his arms was making him harden. Naruto is now spending time with his mother and sister at Ichiraku's. They have been going there for when they are hungry for ramen. Naruto knows that his mother Kushina has dirty thoughts about him as well as a hidden lust, and he learned that Natsuki is now falling in love with him and will want to be with him forever. When Naruto, Natsuki and Kushina were walking home, Kushina gets summoned up to Hokage Tower for a meeting, and she told her two kids to go to the training grounds to wait for her. Hokage office. Alright, Konoha is now hosting the Chunin exams, so I want recommendations for the exams, said Hiruzen. Jonin senseis of Team 7, 8, 10 and 11 step forward please, said Hiruzen, and Anko, Kurenai, Asuma and Kakashi along with Kushina step forward. Now Anko, we'll start with you, said Hiruzen. I lead Squad 7, Sasuke Uchiha, Kiba Inuzuka and Sakura Haruno, and I, Anko Mitarashi recommend all three, said Anko. This shocked Iruka. I lead Squad 8, Hinata Hyuga, Shino Aburame and Sai, and I, Kurenai Yuhi recommend all three, said Kurenai. I lead Squad 10, Ino Yamanaka, Shikamaru Nara and Choji Akamichi, and I, Asuma Sarutobi recommend all three, said Asuma. We lead Squad 11, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, Natsuki Uzumaki Namikaze, Satsuki Uchiha and Yakumo Kurama, and now we, Kakashi Hatake and Kushina Uzumaki recommend all four, said Kakashi with Kushina nodding. The rest of the Jonins there are now whispering their thoughts about this, and then, wait just a minute, said a familiar voice, and they turned to see Iruka has wanted to say something. There's something wrong, Iruka? Asked Hiruzen. Pardon me for interrupting, but I find it too early for these genin to participate in the Chunin exams. I've known these genin since they were in the academy. The only ones that I think are ready for the Chunin exams are Naruto, Natsuki, Satsuki and Yakumo. They are the only ones I believe are ready, said Iruka. Iruka proves a point, Kakashi. I've held my team back for a year so they can enjoy their youth until they feel ready for the Chunin exams, said Guy, and Kakashi says, first off, they are not your genin anymore, they graduated from the academy and became shinobi. Kakashi, I don't think it's wise to rile Iruka up like this, said Kushina sternly. That's enough, no fighting. Now Iruka, I understand your concern, but they're growing up, so let them have a chance, said Hiruzen. Yes, Hokage-sama, said Iruka, still worried for the genin recommended for the Chunin exams. At the Team 11 training grounds, Naruto is meditating and levitating while it is happening. Natsuki is practicing her taijutsu with Satsuki while Yakumo is painting a picture of Naruto while she is blushing at him. So, what do you guys think about what Kakashi-sensei and Kushina-sensei are gonna say to us when they get here? Asked Satsuki, and Naruto says, it would most likely be about the Chunin exams. Naruto, your brain is one of the main reasons that we enjoy having you on our team, said Yakumo in a happy tone. Why thank you, that's very kind of you, said Naruto. Then Kakashi and Kushina appear at the training grounds and Kakashi says, good, you're all here. You nominated us for the Chunin exams, didn't you? Asked an already knowing Naruto with a grin. As a matter of fact, we did, Naru-chan, and we will be giving you for these Chunin exams slips that proves that you are a contestant for the Chunin exams, said Kushina with a smile. Natsuki and Satsuki hug each other happily with their chests pressing together. Yakumo smiles and Naruto chuckles at their tactics. Guess we'll be heading over to the academy for the Chunin exams tomorrow, said Naruto, and the others nod. A couple moments later, Naruto is walking home with his team and then they hear, hey, that hurt you, brat. Someone yells, and another cries out, I didn't see you there. They look and see someone picking on Hiruzen's grandson, Konohamaru Sarutobi. Kankuro, what are you doing? We could get in serious trouble for this, what would he say? Asked a blonde girl. You worry too much, Tamari. This won't take long, I just need to teach a brat a lesson for bumping into someone, said the man in black with purple face paint. I would listen to your sister if I were you, said a voice. The two look and see a young man with long red hair, a Konoha headband around his neck, and is wearing a purple and yellow cloak. The young man in black is in shock, but the blonde girl is blushing like crazy at the sight of him. Wow, Konoha is now starting to have some hotties, but he is the most hottest man I've ever seen, she thought in lust. Naruto heard her thoughts and smirks. Well, this girl is having dirty thoughts about me like the other girls that I scanned the minds of. This is getting more and more interesting, he thought. Buzz off, this brat ran into me and I have to teach him a lesson for doing so, said the man, and Naruto says, I would appreciate it that you put Konohamaru down. He's the grandson of the Sandaime Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi, and harming him would cause your entry in the Chunin exams invalid. That surprised both of them. How did you know we were entering the Chunin exams? Asked the girl, and Naruto says, why else would ninja from Suna come to Konoha? Now could you please put Konohamaru down, cause the red head in the tree next to Sasuke is not in a good mood right now. That shocked everyone in the area. They look in the tree and see that the red head and a shocked Sasuke looking at him. How did he get here? I didn't even sense him, thought Sasuke in surprise. The red head jumps down, and says, Kankuro, why are you picking fights with little kids? You know better than to do that. And Kankuro tries to say, but the now named Gaara wouldn't have of it. Shut up, or I'll kill you. Now put him down, he said in a voice that means business. Kankuro puts Konohamaru down and Konohamaru runs and hides behind Naruto. I apologize for my brother's attitude, he can be a brat sometimes, said Gaara getting a look from Kankuro which says, Hey. If I may, who are you three? Asked Naruto, and the red-haired boy says, my name is Gaara of the desert, these two are my siblings, Tamari and Kankuro, I would like to know your name as well. I am Sasuke Uchiha. Sasuke tried to say, not you, the red-haired one, said Gaara, and Naruto says, my name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Gaara grins like crazy and says, I am hoping to show my existence to the world by killing you Uzumaki. Well, I have that to look forward to, said Naruto with a smile. The three Suna ninja walk away and Sakura, who just appears after hearing the commotion, happens to ask, what was that all about? Sand ninja came for the Chunin exams, looks like a challenge for us in the exams, explained Naruto. Meanwhile, Minato is in a secret bunker doing some planning. He had the civilian council, Kaharu and Homura get him images and intel on the contestants for the Chunin exams. Minato looks through them. He was smiling that his little weapon is participating in the Chunin exams. He finds out that several hidden villages are participating as well. Leaf, sand, sound, waterfall, stone, grass, mist, cloud and rain. This will be interesting, he said to himself. He finds out that a female mist ninja is a Kagaya. He is starting to make plans for capturing her and turning her into breeding stock. He also found out that a female waterfall ninja is a Zaraki. The Zaraki clan was a very feared clan for their power to enhance and amplify the ninjutsu of others, as well as create new internal organs and skin cells using their chakra on others and themselves. He was very interested and decided that she will be captured for breeding stock as well, and he also discovered that a female grass ninja is a Uzumaki. He was going to capture these kunoichi after the exams and turn them into breeding stock. Yotsuba Kagaya, the last female of the Kagaya clan, Azumi Zaraki, the last of the Zaraki clan, and Karen Uzumaki, one of the last of the Uzumaki clan. Well, after the exams, I'll have them captured for Sasuke to repopulate his clan and gain their bloodlines. Yes, with that power in my disposal, I'll be unstoppable and Konoha will conquer the elemental nations, said Minato. He then laughs like an evil maniac. But unknown for him, Naruto happened to send a shadow clone to follow him and eavesdrop on his plans. Naruto's clone was appalled at this, so he wants to make the Uchiha unstoppable. I've got to get this to Sarutobi sensei. Oh Minato, you think that your plans are working perfectly, but in the end, I will be taking your plans and I'll be tearing them up and flushing them down the toilet, he thought as he dispelled. Back with Naruto. Naruto gains what his shadow clone had gathered from eavesdropping on Minato's plans, and he becomes disgusted. He teleports to Hiruzen's office. Hiruzen is surprised that Naruto had teleported into his office. That only happens if something that Naruto discovered is very wrong and concerning. Sarutobi-sensei, I wanna share something with you. Inoichi, Danzo, the senseis of teams 7 through 11 and their students minus Sasuke and Kiba. Said Naruto. Hiruzen nods and sends message to the ones Naruto wants to share information. A half hour later, everyone that Naruto wanted to be called up for a secret meeting is now present. Naruto-kun, what's the problem? Asked Yakumo, and Naruto says, I actually wanted to talk to you all. This gets their attention. I have something that I discovered. Minato is making plans to capture 3 kunoichi after the exams, a kunoichi from the Mist Village, a kunoichi from the Waterfall Village and a kunoichi from the Grass Village to use them as breeding stock for Sasuke to repopulate the Uchiha clan. Said Naruto, making them widen their eyes at this. Is there a reason, Naru-chan? Asked Kushina, appalled at what her husband is planning. The names of all 3 kunoichi that Minato wants to capture after the exams are Yotsuba Kagaya. She is the last female of her clan. Azumi Zaraki, she is the last of a very feared clan, and the last one is someone that Mom and Nitsuki will want to get involved to stop Minato from getting his hands on. Her name is Karen Uzumaki, explained Naruto. That made everyone in the room shocked and disgusted at this. Kushina and Nitsuki felt like they wanted to prevent a fellow Uzumaki from being turned into breeding stock for Sasuke. The Kagaya clan, they have the power to use their own bones as weapons, a power called Shikatsunyaku. They were a clan of barbarians, but a very rare select few are not bloodthirsty, and Yotsuba is one of them, said Hiruzen. The Zaraki clan, they have the power to temporarily enhance and amplify the ninjutsu of others as well as their ninjutsu Kekkei Genkais. They also can create new internal organs and skin cells of others. The larger the chakra signature is on someone, the quicker the effects of the enhanced power wears off. They were also the best medical ninja, said Danzo. The Uzumaki clan, they have accelerated healing capabilities, enhanced fuinjutsu and the power to manifest sealing chains made of chakra. Not only that, Uzumakis have a longer lifespan than others. The lifespan is 200 to 300 years, said Kushina.